Cristiano Ronaldo is not only admired for his unmatched football skills, but also for the way he expresses himself publicly, especially during interviews. Most times when faced with disrespectful and provoking questions, he doesn't just stay silent, pretending nothing happened. Instead, he addresses the issue head-on by giving a sharp reply, or other times by ending the conversation altogether. So let's get into the details of how Cristiano Ronaldo shut down disrespectful interviewers. Ronaldo's reactions during most interviews show off his fiery personality. He is self-confident, very protective of his dignity, and quick to confront situations where he feels disrespected. Over the years, countless interviews and press conferences have shown that Ronaldo will not quietly accept negative, unfair, or provocative questions. Instead, he responds sincerely, with confidence, and sometimes very bluntly, making it clear that his self-worth is non-negotiable in any conversation with him. From his early career days to his latest seasons, Ronaldo has often been criticized. The media has celebrated his triumphs, but it has also broken down his mistakes, questioned his abilities, and on some occasions, treated him with a lack of courtesy. What makes Ronaldo stand out is not just his performance on the pitch, but his ability to address such issues directly when they arise in interviews. One crucial instance is during Portugal's UEFA Nations League match against Denmark. The national team was under pressure, and Ronaldo himself was being criticized after missing a penalty in a previous game. A Portuguese journalist asked in the press conference if Ronaldo was still capable of performing at the highest level, though it was a question loaded with doubt, and in Ronaldo's view, it's disrespectful. He did not even smile, maybe laugh it off, or try to deflect politely. Instead, he called the question just disrespectful, making it clear that such remarks were not welcome. He even pointed out the journalist's body language, noting that the man was looking down at his computer instead of making eye contact. For Ronaldo, this was more than a small detail. It was due to the lack of attentiveness and sincerity he expects when someone is addressing him. His response was measured but sharp, and it sent a message. He would not let anyone reduce his years of dedication and achievement to a careless question. Portugal later won, making them secure an important victory, and Ronaldo's leadership remained evident throughout the match. Also, Ronaldo's intolerance for disrespect is not limited to sporting questions. In 2015, during an interview with CNN Espanol, the interviewer focused on the FIFA corruption scandal and the controversial decision to award the 2022 World Cup to Qatar. The interviewer's questions became increasingly pointed, pressing Ronaldo to comment on political matters and global controversies. Ronaldo was visibly uninterested in discussing such topics, as they were far outside his role as a player. He explained that footballers usually talk about things like music, fashion, or their families, not politics or corruption. Then, in one of his most blunt moments, he said plainly, "I don't care about FIFA. I don't give a fuck," and promptly ended the interview. Walking out was his way of making it clear that he would not be drawn into debates he found irrelevant. His exit was more than a flash of temper. He indirectly taught them to learn to respect people's boundaries. He would engage in football, but not on matters he saw as outside his responsibility, and certainly not when the tone of the questioning felt disrespectful. A similar incident was repeated during the 2016 European Championships. Ronaldo was struggling in the early matches, missing key chances and even a penalty. Reporters were quick to point out his slump. One interviewer asked him if he was ready for the next match, a question that seemed to imply doubt about his mental strength and form. At that moment, Ronaldo's frustration was clear. Though he did not explode, his tone carried the weight of someone tired of hearing the same skeptical remarks. Rather than letting it derail him, he turned that irritation into motivation. As the tournament progressed, he scored vital goals and inspired his teammates, leading Portugal to their first ever major international trophy. That championship win was not only a triumph for the team, but also a personal vindication for Ronaldo, proving wrong those who had questioned him just days earlier. Sometimes Ronaldo doesn't even need words to make his point. After securing his 5th UEFA Champions League title, he was walking through a media zone when reporters shouted questions at him, some of them critical. Ronaldo didn't stop to argue. Instead, he held up 5 fingers, a wordless reminder of his 5 titles, each one representing years of work, sacrifice, and excellence. The gesture was powerful because it spoke volumes without a single sentence. His record speaks for itself, and no question could diminish that. In other moments, Ronaldo takes disrespect from people more personally. In one of his interviews with Piers Morgan, he addressed frustrations during his return to Manchester United. He openly criticized the club's owners for what he described as neglect, saying they did not care about the club. He also spoke about unprofessional behavior within the organization. These were not the guarded, politically correct comments that most athletes make. Ronaldo was frank, naming problems and explaining explaining exactly why he felt let down. It was his way of refusing to let others control the narrative about his time at the club. By speaking so openly, he shut down speculation and gossip, replacing it with his honest account. Yet Ronaldo's defense against disrespect is not limited to himself. One unforgettable instance was when he came to the aid of a young Japanese fan. During a public event, the boy tried to ask Ronaldo a question in Portuguese. His pronunciation was imperfect, and some members of the press laughed. Ronaldo immediately stepped in, defending the boy. He reminded the reporters that the child had shown courage to speak in a foreign language and that such an effort deserved respect, not mockery. That moment revealed a softer, protective side of Ronaldo, showing that his insistence on respect goes beyond his image, but also to anyone he feels is being unfairly treated. Also, during one of his interviews in 2014 about his contract situation at Real Madrid, Cristiano Ronaldo stayed calm but firm, even as reporters repeatedly pressed him about his future. Though he was never rude, his impatience showed as the same question kept coming up. Rather than speak negatively, he chose to answer politely, keeping the focus on his performance on the pitch instead of contract drama. The way he handled it revealed how professional he is and showed his ability to handle media pressure and his determination to control the story about his career. By ending the conversation on respectful terms, he made it clear he valued mature, conflict-free discussions and wasn't afraid to set boundaries when pushed too far. The moment perfectly reflected his mix of patience and assertiveness in challenging interviews. These clearly shows how Ronaldo deals with challenging interviews and press interactions. He is not afraid to call out behavior he finds inappropriate, whether it's a loaded question, a lack of basic politeness, or mockery of someone vulnerable. His methods vary. Sometimes it's a sharp retort, sometimes he uses gesture, simply walking away, but the underlying principle is the same. Respect must be maintained. Critics might argue that Ronaldo's reactions can be overly defensive or even arrogant. However, from his perspective, every moment of disrespect chips away at the years of discipline, sacrifice, and excellence that define his career. He has worked his entire life to reach the top of football, and he expects interactions with him to reflect that journey. In his mind, tolerating disrespect sets a standard, and he refuses to do so. His view also explains why he often takes control by speaking up in the moment. He avoids leaving space for misinterpretation. If a question is misleading, he corrects it. If it's disrespectful, he calls it out. If it's irrelevant, he dismisses it. In doing so, he protects not only his dignity, but also a sense of authority over how his career and character are portrayed in public. In addition, Ronaldo is a global figure, and every word he says can be amplified by international media. A minor remark can become a headline. A single misstep can dominate the news cycle. Especially with such fame in this era, being indifferent can be dangerous. So by actively confronting issues as they happen, Ronaldo ensures that his side of the story is heard immediately, reducing the chances of it being twisted or even taken out of context. Even in heated moments, there is calculation behind Ronaldo's responses. He knows that a blunt comment, maybe a walkout, will make news, but it will also signal to future interviewers that certain boundaries should not be crossed. This self-assertion can influence how he is treated in the long term, creating an expectation of professionalism and respect whenever he engages with the press. Also, Ronaldo's approach serves as an example to younger athletes. Though many rising stars face intense media pressure, but are unsure how to handle provocative questioning, by watching Ronaldo stand his ground, they can see that it is possible to respond firmly without losing composure. His actions demonstrate that defending oneself is not unprofessional. In fact, it can be an essential part of maintaining a long, respected career. Of course, Ronaldo is not perfect. There have been moments where his bluntness has fueled criticism, with some accusing him of arrogance and being too quick to take offense. But even if one sees his responses as excessive, there is no denying that they are consistent with his character. He has always been fiercely competitive, self-assured, and unwilling to let others define his story. Those same qualities that drive him to score goals and win titles are the ones that surface when he faces challenging interviews. Lastly, his interactions with disrespectful interviewers are more than football. They are about self-worth, boundaries, and the principle that respect should be mutual. He does not expect to be immune from criticism after all. Mistakes and missed chances are part of any career. What he demands is that such criticism be delivered with fairness and professionalism, not with contempt or mockery. Even if it means calling out a journalist for poor body language, walking out on irrelevant questions, defending a young fan, or reminding the world of his achievements with a single gesture, Ronaldo's message is consistent. moment. Respect is not optional. It is this unshakable stance combined with his extraordinary career that has earned him admiration from millions and made his media confrontations as memorable as his goals. What do you think about Ronaldo's approach in shutting down his interviewers? Let's know your thoughts in the comment. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe for more updates.